Okay, what we have here today is a lathe that I built, finished about a year ago. Thought I'd put up a little video explaining what it is and what I've done. It won't necessarily be an instructional video. I'm not going to walk you through each process step by step, but kind of an overview of what took place here to come up with this machine. This is not a design of my own. I'm not going to take any more credit for it than just the fact that I built it. I got the plans from this book here, Shop Tested Woodworking Tools You Can Make. Comes from Wood Magazine, so I'm sure it's still available if you wanted to build something like this. So anyway, the lathe is made 95% out of wood. Most of it's red oak from Home Depot. Start over here with the headstock. It's just a series of glued up laminations with a set of flanged bearings recessed into either end to hold the spindle. I think I ordered those from Amazon or some online bearing supply. I recessed them in flush with the headstock. The book said just mount them on the headstock, but I cut the recesses in there. I thought it would look nicer, just to satisfy some of my anal behavior. The ways in the book were just wood on wood, so I added these cold rolled strips just to eliminate marring up the ways as you move the tailstock back and forth. The tailstock is made up the same way as the headstock, laminated all this red oak together. I cut a recess in here for this washer, but underneath the recess is an additional hex-shaped recess which holds a 1 by 10 TPI nut. It's epoxied in there, and then that washer goes on over the outside and holds it, make sure it doesn't move or pop out of place or anything like that. And that way you can just crank the tailstock in or out. The tailstock, as well as the spindle, the tail spindle as well as the headstock spindle, are both made of 1-inch cold rolled steel. I made them here in my shop. I've got a metalworking lathe, fortunately for me. So I was able to cut these threads, bored the both spindles through all the way, and then they were reamed out to a number 2 Morse taper. This hand wheel is just something that was in my junk pile. Don't even know where it came from. I made these these locking screw, I guess you'd call it, to hold to lock the spindle in place, and this locks the tailstock to the ways to keep it from moving. The tool holder is more or less from the plans. I modified it. I added these little wear strips down here for the same reason I did these on the ways, just to keep it from getting marked up. And I made the knobs. I think the instructions called for some store-bought knobs. This was a piece of aluminum I had in the shop, so I turned that on my metal lathe and drilled through and to mount the tool holder. And this is just screwed up through the bottom of the tool holder with some 1/4-inch screws. This is just welded up from some 3/4 stock, and so I can, if I need a smaller one or a bigger one or a curved one, I can just go ahead and make any kind of tool holder I need. The base, everything you see here is red, is either made from MDF or the tool or the belt guard is formed out of some plywood and some masonite, and keeps me from getting my fingers or any of my other parts caught in the belt. The bottom leg of here of course holds the motor, and the one on the other side is just a storage. I've got some extra face plates and measuring calipers and things in there that I use when I'm turning. This boxed in portion here in the middle is filled with sand. I think there's about 200 pounds of sand in there, so that helps to stabilize the machine so it doesn't vibrate a bit once it comes up to speed, or tend to walk around the shop or move. It's not going anywhere. So basically this is it. This is what I've done. Like I say, I'm not going to go into minute details about how it was done. If you're a woodworker, or if you've ever even attempted anything close to what I've done here, you could probably take a look at it and realize it, really isn't that involved a project. Just taking one step at a time. It's pretty simple. If you're really serious about doing something like this, I'd recommend getting that book that I showed earlier. But there are many other books and a lot of online videos here on YouTube that show how to do things like this. So I'm not claiming I've done anything magnificent or marvelous, just kind of followed a set of directions and threw in my 2 cents worth wherever I felt it was necessary. So this is my homemade lathe, and thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them at the bottom. I'll try to answer them. If you've got any wise-ass remarks, I'm not even going to bother replying. Okay, take care of yourselves. Have a good day.